I've made a few terrarium videos and I've shown how I build them, but I haven't really covered the basics of terrarium design. I've said before, the only limits are the space inside and your imagination, but there are a few other factors to consider. So, what do you need to know to design your terrarium? A terrarium should look like a miniature landscape, a microcosm of an ecosystem. Whether it's a forest floor with lots of moss and ferns, or a desert terrarium with sand and succulents, or even a weird alien environment with neon-colored gravel, miniature landscape is the look you're going for. The first thing to consider is placement. Will it live in a spot where you can see it from every angle, or will it be on a shelf like these? What I do is think of myself as a set designer. Will the audience all be looking at the set from one direction, or is it theater in the round? If it's going to be on a table in the middle of a room, you'll have a 360-degree view, so you want it to look interesting from all angles. If it's going on a shelf, then it can have a front and a back, and the back doesn't have to look as good as the rest of it. In my last closed terrarium build, this one here, I made a little wall with pagoda stones to give the illusion of depth. And while it does look kind of cool in the back, with its higher level, you can't see the pond or the little house. So there's an obvious back and front. In the larger one I made before that, this one here, I made a path right down the middle, so if I wanted to, I could turn it 180 degrees and it would still look good. And I do, in fact, rotate it from time to time, just because I can. But the succulent terrarium I made doesn't have a specific front or back, so no matter which way you turn it, it looks interesting. This one is terrarium in the round. You'll also need to look at mature plant height and width. That's why I had to move the ferns from my small terrarium into this larger one. They were too successful. So you want plants that either won't ever grow taller than the space inside your terrarium, or that grow slowly, so at least they can live in it for a few years before they outgrow it. You can, of course, prune the plants back to give them more room, but eventually any plant will outgrow its enclosure. That's why I made the decision to take the Paleonia out of this terrarium with the little pond. It was already too tall when I put it in there, and it didn't really have room to grow. Plus, it was blocking the little fairy fern. And this may seem obvious, but you should always make sure the plants you've chosen to put in your terrarium all need the same care. Same watering needs, same light, same humidity levels. A succulent won't survive in a closed terrarium with a bunch of moss any more than moss will survive in an open terrarium with a bunch of succulents. So, choose your plants wisely. To make your terrarium look like a miniature landscape, you'll want some hardscape as well. That's basically anything that's not a plant. Rocks, gravel, sand, a piece of wood, a little house for the fairies, a little pond, tiny figurines of people or animals. These are all hardscape. And while they're not absolutely necessary, they do make it a lot more fun. When you're choosing hardscape, make sure there's room for it and it won't be crowding the plants. I've been doing this long enough that I can usually just eyeball it to make sure it'll all fit. But you could also stage it on a table first. Leave the plants in their pots and put the hardscape around them approximately where it'll be in the finished terrarium. And remember that your plants will grow, so they need more space than your hardscape. But Hardscaping is the fun part. So the main thing is to have fun with it. So now that you've taken placement, mature plant size, plant types, and hardscape into consideration, you're ready to start the build. Now's the time to let your imagination run wild. I love building terrariums. It's really fun to get creative with plants, and there's no reason not to. Have you ever tried building a terrarium? How'd it go? If you haven't, why not? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe to my channel and hit that bell to be notified when I release a new video. You can also find me on Instagram at planty.jen, where I share photos and tips as well. If you'd like to learn more about me, please visit my website at plantyjenstinylandscapes.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Time for that theme song.
If your plants look sad and you lost all hope, tried everything, you're at the end of your rope. Should you throw them out into the street? Nope, just ask Planty Jen. If you want to be a planty acolyte, learn the tips and tricks to keep them growing right. Water, fertilizer, and the right amount of light, just ask Planty Jen.